Am I allowed to give Coach Christie Sides any credit now? Is that okay? Just checking. Is that okay with all of y'all who yelled at me all season for not calling for her firing and sometimes giving her the benefit of the doubt and attempting to be constructive with the criticism of the Indiana Fever's head coach, because she sure looked happy after the game against the Sun, as so many people were, of course, after the game against the Sun. But here is Christie Side. That is a lady who is pumped for the win. She was pumped. And then she also shared, I guess, what her celebration of choice was, which was Big Mac and bourbon. Sounds disgusting to me, but hey, to each their own. I don't drink, so just to be clear. But I noticed that bourbon is a big thing. Like every time I'm hanging around with a bunch of some of these dudes, they're like, "Well, which bourbon is this? And it's aged this," and I'm just like, "Yeah, I don't care." But congratulations to Coach Sides. I also don't like McDonald's. I don't like the way it smells. I prefer a Whopper. But if McDonald's would like to sponsor the show, I'm good with that. Christie Sides, though, for real, though, deserves credit. She does. I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is. She told Clark to shoot the ball more, right? Before the game. Obviously, between the last game and this game. She's really said it all season, but she said it emphatically before the game against the Sun. And you saw Caitlin take that shot. You saw Caitlin take the driving layup that she made, and then the shot that rimmed out that she hit the floor about. So that's what all y'all were asking for. And it happened. So that's a positive. And I think the biggest thing, to be honest with you, like if I'm kind of being silly and mocking a bit and having fun, but if I'm being honest about it, the real big difference for Coach Christie Sides and what changed is she realized what she had in Caitlin Clark, right? Like at the beginning of the year, it felt like there may have been a little bit of a resistance as far as turning over whatever her philosophies and style were to a rookie. And that has completely changed. And we've seen it completely change organizationally post-Olympic break. But Sides specifically has given Caitlin Clark the keys. Clark is in charge of what this team does, how this team is run out on the floor. And that is a smart move by the head coach of the Indiana Fever. Obviously, some of the lineup changes took a minute. Christy Wallace was in the starting lineup for too long. Same script now with Katie Lou Samuelson. I can't imagine that Sides has seen what she's seen from Lexi Hull and will mess with that. That is again, I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt there. That is something that I would find upsetting, is if she backtracked on that lineup switch. But this team is playing very well. If they get any sort of production from that 4 spot, look out, because Hull has provided the hustle and the shooting. Boston, obviously, is the big who kind of does everything for them. And then you got LeBron and Kyrie in Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Clark being this offensive hub and engine that makes things easier for everybody else, and Kelsey being a born bucket getter. And of course, Christie Sides deserves her flowers, which I'm trying to give her. Hell, you're probably going to have some people sly say coach of the year stuff at the end of the year if the Fever finish over 500 after going 1-8. I'm not saying that's me, but you might hear some of that chatter for Coach Sides, who also deserved the grace of growing into the role, right? Like Clark deserves the grace of being a rookie. And Kelsey Mitchell also deserves all the praise that she's been getting, including this praise from Clark.
For sure. I mean, this is somebody that's been with this organization for how many years? 6 or 7? You said 7 years. So, I mean, if anybody deserves this, it's definitely Kels. Like, she comes in and works so hard. She's always been a constant voice. And even when she was hurt through training camp in the beginning of the season, like, she was somebody that was right on the sideline, coaching us, talking to us, and especially for myself as a rookie coming in here. Like, she was always a very positive voice in there and very supportive. And for me, like, that makes you feel very welcome coming in as a rookie and getting to play with somebody that's been really, really good for this organization. So I just feel very lucky and fortunate, because I know that's not every situation for a rookie. So I'm just very thankful.
Yeah, I would have to second that. I mean, obviously.
Oh, Kelsey genuinely touched right there in that moment, which was, it's kind of beautiful to see this team come together that way and Kelsey Mitchell get her recognition after so many years in the league. And obviously she's found a role here she can thrive in off of Clark. Hopefully she stays as a free agent. But, I mean, it helps the Fever to have someone who is so fearless. Kelsey Mitchell is so fearless. And her ability to just get a bucket and a basket in any situation, her speed getting down the floor, that's another thing that really helps the team because Clark, loves to throw the ball ahead. I mean, the only thing she's missing is size, really, and, it is what it is. But that's, again, like a little bit of a Kyrie comparison. Mitchell leads the league in scoring coming out of the break. And, you have the option of going to Caitlin and letting her create and create for herself and others. And I think 64% of Clark's shots are unassisted. And obviously she's assisting everybody else. And then you also have the option of going to Kelsey Mitchell, which that makes it tough. It's going to put the defense on the heels, especially when they have to account for Aaliyah Boston. So, I mean, the only thing missing for this team is consistent production from the 4 spot, where Nalissa Smith has been inconsistent. Temi Fegbenley missed some bunnies. I think she called herself Smokey the Bear for smoking the layups. But she did contribute positively for the team in the game against the Sun. So, I mean, all of it is good. And you're getting the recognition from the WNBA legends as well. Lisa Leslie posted this about Caitlin Clark, saying, "Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. And you were just getting started." I mean, it's nice to see that coming, and again, the difference between the beginning of the year where the Fever were and where the Fever are now, it's night and day. Like when the sun rises and the sun sets and the Sun got beat by Indiana and company in the latest meeting, which shows you that they can play with anybody. I mean, I don't have their record recently against teams over 500 offhand, but I know it's damn good. And the only loss they had was a tight competitive contest against the Minnesota Lynx, who are a really good team. But, I think when you're now talking about playoff teams, you're talking about the Liberty, you're talking about the Lynx, and one of those teams that's getting mentioned off the tongue next has to be the Indiana Fever, the way that they've played basketball as of late and the way that they seem to be coming together from coach on down to personnel.